Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Olivier from Techitron, and today I'm going to take a look at the Wii X1. The Wii X1 is actually quite a bit different from your everyday smartphone because the company behind it is trying to provide you not just the actual smartphone itself, but also cloud storage as well as high-speed Wi-Fi over at their Wi-Fi hotspots. The basic idea is that they're trying to sell you a value package instead of just a smartphone. Before I get started with the review, I'd like to thank our friends over at bcrow.com who have helped us get a hold of this smartphone for review. Design-wise, Wii has hit this one right out of the park. Yes, the X1 does look a little bit like the iPhone, but this is an excellent implementation of that particular design. You can see the quality of the craftsmanship throughout the metal body, which looks very clean and does not have any dirty or jagged edges. Aside from that, the curvature on the smartphone is very well implemented. Moving on, if you look around the device, you find that the buttons are on one side and are extremely nice, responsive, and produce that audible click that we're always looking for. Aside from that, there's a row of capacitive keys along the bottom of the display which do not light up and hence are a little bit cumbersome in the dark. With the 5-inch HD AMOLED display, we left very little room for complaints. The 320 ppi pixel density makes everything on the display look very sharp and crisp. Color reproduction too is on point, and with typical AMOLED displays, you get very deep inky blacks and high contrast ratios. The brightness gets high enough to comfortably read outdoors, and the screen is also protected by Corning's Gorilla Glass 3. One of the features that we promised to deliver with their phones was good camera quality. The main camera sensor is a 13 megapixel Samsung camera, whereas the secondary sensor is an OmniVision 8 megapixel camera. How do they perform, you ask? Well, honestly, they perform very good. The 13 megapixel sensor is capable of capturing a lot of detail in both low light and daylight situations. Also, it has great depth of field and gives a very nice effect whenever you're trying to focus something close. Furthermore, there is also good color accuracy as well as a lot of detail in the selfie images that you take with this camera, so don't worry at all about your selfie game. Coming across a smartphone running Android 4.4 KitKat in 2016 is a bit disappointing. Nevertheless, the Wii X1 does not suffer because of this. Everything on the device is very fluid, except for the home screen launcher, which I believe is a localized problem that can easily be solved by downloading a third-party launcher from the Google Play Store. The experience on the device is not stock Android. As you can see, even the notifications and settings panels are changed. The built-in launcher may not have an app drawer, but you do get some customization options in the form of changing transition animations, as well as adding different themes which are pre-built into the smartphone. The story behind the performance side of things is actually quite simple. You can play games such as Modern Combat 5, Asphalt 8, and even Nova 3 on this smartphone with ease. Now what lets you do that is a Snapdragon 410 processor which is clocked at 1.2 GHz and is quad-core. Coupled with that, you get 2 GB of RAM along with a 2000 mAh battery. Now the battery figure may seem a little bit too small, but trust me on this, it'll get you through the full day and you'll have a lot of good standby time. The X1 has been one of the most easiest smartphones to review, and that's mainly because we just did such a great job on each one of the categories they promised on. You have great display, you have great performance, you have a couple great cameras, as well as a very good looking build which feels great in the hand too. Moreover, on top of all that, we're throwing in 100 GB of free cloud storage as well as high-speed internet at their Wi-Fi hotspots around the country. At 18,600 taka, you just can't go wrong with this smartphone. Once again, before I close out, I'd like to say thanks to our friends over at bcrow.com, without whom this video would not have been possible. Please go over to their blog post in the link in the description below to check out the written component to this review. Thank you once again, and we hope you've enjoyed. Stay tuned.